Hello my friends and welcome to the 2019 Super Roadster Challenge or Super Convertible Challenge. So there was a voting, some quite of time, in the past about what kind of challenge would you like to see, and the winning vote for that, voting was the 2019 Roadster Challenge. Now a normal Roadster, like a Mazda MX-5, those, tiny sporty convertibles, these are very nice and they are very cheap, but I want to try something new, which is Super Roadster Challenge. It's similar to the Supercar Challenge, but the car that you need to build has to have a soft top convertible roof. So that's a very important rule. So my friends, enjoy this video, get your pencils ready and start writing the rules so you don't break any, and of course have fun always and get creative, and good luck in creating your own masterpiece. Now the first rule that you need to pay attention to, which is the most important one, which is the production year. The production year, my friend, is 2019. That's the number one rule. The next rule, which is of course the allowed body type. The only allowed body type is a modern convertible soft top only body style. But yeah, two-door only convertible, that's a very typical and common body type, so stay within that, don't go weird with your creation. And please make sure your car has the most important things to make it a usable car, like wiper blades, door handles, fuel filler caps, exhaust pipes, beautiful badging, very nice color, very nice rims. If you want to use vents, you can use vents. Make sure they are perfect and very well seated in their own special beautiful way. Use your own imagination. Don't rush your creation and submit your file within 5 minutes. Take your time, my friend. No one is following you with a stick. Take your time. The next rule, which is of course the materials. No limited production materials at all. So that means no fiberglass and no carbon fiber. What else? And nothing that is under the limited production category. Don't use those, because the car that you are going to build needs to be a mass production car. No limited production at all. Alright, that's done. Moving on, next bit, which is of course the engine. My friend, you can use any engine you want, absolutely anything you want, starting from an inline 3 all the way to, let's say, a Boxer 6. If you want to use a V16, a V12, it's up to you, my friend. Everything is allowed, natural aspirated, turbocharged, but please remember that you need to use only 95 octane fuel, and yes, no race intake and no race exhaust. That means you need to use only standard or performance intake system, and your exhaust system, my friend, needs to have catalytic converters, and a single or dual mufflers. It's up to you, my friend. It's up to the your specifications for your engine noise. It's up to you, my friend. Now, since you are talking about the engine, the production unit, the allowed maximum production units for your engine is 130 points, and the engineering time, the allowed maximum engineering time, is 200 points for the engine only. And now the horsepower, because yes, there is a horsepower limit, 650 horsepower max. No more than 650 horsepower, because it's a convertible. Yes, I know some of you will tell me there's the Bugatti Grand Sport, that thing, the fastest car without a roof, and with 1,000 horsepower. No, we are not building that much, and that was a limited production cost. So 650 horsepower max. Please make sure your car is perfectly made. I mean, don't give me a car that will oversteer and crash into a tree, or maybe a car that will understeer and also crash into a tree. Please make sure your car is perfect in every single way. The engine, the gearbox, everything is working properly together. And since we are talking about the gearbox, no sequential gearbox, because sequential gearbox is for, well, it's for track usage only, not for a daily driving, taking the kids to school or going to to drive up the mountains. No sequential. You can use anything else you want. The next bit is of course the drive type. What kind of drive type you want to use in your car. You can choose anything you want, except of course 4x4. 4x4 is for off-road cars, but if you want to build a front-wheel drive car, it's okay. If you want to build a rear-wheel drive car, it's okay. All-wheel drive car, it's also okay, but no 4x4. That's, I mean, that's common sense. 4x4 is only for off-road vehicles. Moving on, let's see what we have here. Alright, so next is the tires. As always, no semi-slick tires. You can use any tire compound except semi-slicks and of course chunky off-road. Those two things are not for regular mass-produced cars. And of course, as I've mentioned before, no limited production materials. That means no carbon fiber rims. Alright, the next bit, my friends, is the brakes. You can choose any brake type you want. Also, no carbon ceramic brakes because, well, your car needs to be affordable, and carbon ceramic brakes are, well, a little bit too expensive. And as always, the maximum allowed of brake fade is not as always 2%, no, 1% only in this challenge, because this is a Super Roadster, and supercars usually, their brakes usually don't fade quickly. I mean, you need to drive them extremely hard to make the brakes fade. That's why I'm gonna only allow 1% of brake fade. More than 1%, I'm gonna disqualify the whole car. So please, my friend, pay attention, don't skip anything. 1% of brake fade, that's the maximum allowed. That's the maximum allowed, fadeness. Moving on, aerodynamics, you can choose any option you want. You can use cooling flaps, active aerodynamics, it's up to you, my friend. Next bit is the engine airflow. The engine airflow minimum needs to be 50 because you don't want your car to overheat, and 50, it's like, 50 is the perfect amount to make your engine to cool down. Less than 50, that means your engine is starving for air to go through the radiator. So 50, that's the minimum. Also, the brake airflow needs to be also minimum 50 because I don't want to see any brake fading in BeamNG.drive. I really hate to see that, and I did disqualify some cars in the previous challenges because in automation game, no, there is no brake fading when it comes to the brake pads or the brake type, but in BeamNG.drive those brakes were fading hard because there is no brake airflow. There is no airflow going into the brakes, and that means they got overheated. So also minimum 50 on the brake airflow. Now the next bit, my friends, is the interior. You can choose 4 or 5 seats. If you want to choose four seats, that means 2 at the front, 2 at the rear, and if you want to use 5 seats, that means 2 at the front and a bench on the rear. And use normal seats, none of those compact rubbish seating, only normal seating, normal bench, normal two seats, none of those compact rubbish two seats. I don't like those. And also no basic interior, my friend, because this is a super convertible, not a cheap car. So no basic interior, no basic infotainment system. Yes, the next bit is of course the power steering. The power steering is required, so don't choose the none option. The none option is not available on the power steering. You can use hydraulic, variable hydraulic, electric, whatever you want, but no none. The next bit is of course the traction aids. Also, they are required. It's up to you. You can choose basic ABS only. You can choose traction control, electronic stability control, launch control. It's up to you, but don't choose the none option. Now the safety equipments, as I've mentioned before, no basic option, only standard and advanced. Those are the only 2 options. You can choose standard or advanced, and no, of course, no none option. Now the last bit, which is of course the suspension, the springs, dampers, whatever, you can choose anything you want in this area, and please make sure your suspension is perfectly tailored to your car. Take your time, don't rush anything. And make sure your car is perfect in every single way, because as always, my friends, I'm gonna be picking only the top 20 cars, and I'm gonna decide that as always by calculating the total category points. The total category points is a total number of the famous 8 categories, which they are drivability, sport, comfort, prestige, safety, practicality, reliability, and eco. Those 8 categories, because any car that you will be making in automation game, you will get results in all these 8 categories. So to get your total number, you need to add all these 8 total categories together. Add them together, and you will get a final number. That number is what will it will determine if your car is in the final video or not. Because I'm gonna pick only the top 20 cars with the highest total category points. That's it, no more, my friends. So make sure your car has the best driving experience in BeamNG.drive, and of course has the highest category points in these areas. And also I want to make you guys to pay attention to a little thing. In the previous challenge, some dudes or some guys made their car, or they made their focus only on total category points, which made them lose the challenge. I mean, their cars were extremely high total category points, like through the roof, but their cars were rubbish in BeamNG.drive, and those cars will lose badly. So if you want to win the challenge, make sure your car is fast, beautiful to drive, and has the highest total category points. Yeah, take your time, don't rush your creation, because as always, my friend, you have a single full week to make your car and make sure to submit it within this week. Because if you have reached the deadline and you haven't submit your car, you will get disqualified from the challenge. So let's see, today is the 17th of February. That means you have 7 days. That means to the 24th of February, my friend. Next week at the 24th of February at 6 p.m. plus 3 GMT time, the challenge will end, and no more submitting after that. So take your time, my friend. Enjoy of course making your super crazy cars, and don't rush your creation. Now, since I've talked about all of these, the final bit that we are talking about is the car production units and engineering time. So the car total production units is 165 max. The car engineering time is 190 max, and there's a price limit also. $50,000 on 0% margin. That's your limit, my friend. Don't go over it, and please make sure your car is perfect in every single way. And if you have a question, you can always ask me on Discord, the link in the description below, so you can submit your cars on the submitting page, or you can chat with me or with everyone on Discord on the chatting page. If you want to ask me, if you want to ask everyone on the group, like any question when it comes to the challenge or automation game, it's up to you, my friend. Have fun, don't break the rules. And now let's talk about the prize for the winner of the challenge. This thing, or this car here, it's called the Potenza. The Potenza, my friend, which is Italian for power. This thing is really awesome. This thing has a 5.9 liter V16 engine, naturally aspirated, making 711 horsepower, all-wheel drive. This thing weighs around 2 tons, 2,000 kilograms. It's a heavy car, I'm not joking, but this thing handles very nicely. It's comfortable, it's spacious, it's really nice. This thing has a 5-seat inside, has a soft top, as you can see. The brakes will never fade. This thing will drive, non-stop until of course you run out of fuel, because this thing is a bit thirsty. It can do only 15.9 miles to the gallon, goes from 0 to 100 in 2.8 seconds. So the winner of this challenge will get a special copy of this car to own in his BeamNG.drive and to enjoy driving it non-stop. So my friends, I hope that you enjoy this challenge. Hit that thumbs up, get subscribed, share the video if you want to share it, and of course if you want to download my special cars, if you want to support the channel, to download to get better equipments and to give me more motivation to do more challenges and more crazy videos, the link in the description below for my Patreon page. You can sign up there, download all my special cars, get 4K wallpapers, and watch behind the scenes of anything that will happen in the future, and of course plus special videos. Thank you so much guys for watching. I will see you very soon with more special videos and special creations. And of course, as I've mentioned before, don't break any rules, get creative, and I will see you very soon, my friends. And goodbye for now, my friends.